Hey folks, let's get to today's CSS Daily Target, CSS Battle Daily Target. Ooh, that's great. That's great. Great. This has me wanting to do the quad template, which is sort of exactly what this was designed, what it was designed to do. All right. Okay. So the background has this particular attribute of what if it's a repeating zero. Not explaining this at all right now. Sorry about that. All right. I have leapt in because I got an idea that was sort of wacky. But you got to admit, it's in the ballpark, which is, wild. Okay. So is that angle correct? I think it kind of is. So let's dial this back to just linear gradient. What does that get us? Okay, so I think that what I want is a few different colors. It's going to be transparent, and then the dark blue. So yeah, transparent, 100 pixels. Start there. Sorry, I'm not explaining any of this very well. Sorry about that. And close parentheses. And 0. Okay. So 100 is too much. How about 60? And then the blue to 80 pixels. And then transparent again. 80, how about 90? And then transparent to 100 pixels. And then the dark blue again. I'm going to guess to 120 pixels. And then transparent again. And then if I do, on top of that, a linear gradient, kind of in the ballpark. How about 60%, 65%, 66%? Okay, what's next? All of this pretty silly so far. So I've got this transparent to start with, and then I want the dark, actually I want the dark color, don't I? Yeah, I want the dark color next. And then it's transparent again. And then I need the dark color again. And those are the stripes to 130. So that number's no good. How about 100 pixels? Great. So I've proved that I can do it this way. It's not great, is it? No, not really. But we can, if we shift this to be that color, and then the middle stripe also to be the light color. Then we have one more linear gradient to make, which is going to be the light blue, 130 pixels, and then the dark, 0. Maybe 140 pixels. No, not that one. This one. That one. And that is certainly one way to do this. Minify and unit replace. Is that the only way I'm going to do it today? Oh, backend didn't like my submission, or something is going wrong on the back end. All right, so this is one way to do it. So is there another way to do it? Yes, I think there is. If I create a single element, order double so that border double idea is sort of interesting. And if I rotate this, right, that's an interesting idea. Like this gets at some of what could work here. I think ultimately that's not going to be terrific. So let's see. I'm going to do that. Now, if I use a technique like this, I will be obligated to do some other shenanigans to do the rest of it, right? Like this is, as clever as this is, and it's fairly clever. 30, 10, 20, 25. 20. There it is. So that aligns pretty well, but it's got this problem in that it's just got this significant problem that we've got to cover things after this. And I guess we could do a clip path that was at a weird angle. That's possible. So let's do the next one. Let's do a minus 60, minus 120, 80, 200, 220, 230, 240. And then increase. So this is the height of this guy. So that's going to be what, 120 plus 30 plus 30, probably plus 20, 200. And then let's adjust this margin, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that kind of works. So how do I do that? I guess I need another element then, don't I? I suppose I could narrow the background. If I did this as a nested template, could I center this and then overflow it, and I got to change all kinds of margins to get that right. That's the tricky part of this. So what's the clip path? I really end up wanting to do a clip path, even though it's a bad idea. Polygon, I've solved it. Let me just say, I have solved this. And I'm gonna do this by setting a variable var of an extent of the, so dash dash, we'll just call it x, 20%. And I'm going to use calc values. So var dash dash x 0. This is hard to explain. 100% over, and then calc of 100% minus var x, and then what? Then it's 100%, 100%, and then it's this same calc value, 100%, and then 100%, and then 0 var dash dash x. And then I guess this angle has to be different, minus 45. There it is. So that's a way to do this. You know, you get some weird artifacting here. So if I set this to a number, I can make this work. 4, 5, 6, 7, 71. And that seems to work. Get some weird artifacts there. And then I feel inclined to do a conic gradient to do the final bit of this, conic gradient, because the, conic gradient. Which is going to be what? This light color, 75% around. Dark color 0, and it's going to be some not very tall thing at 50%, 20 pixels, and then we move it 100 pixels and 200 pixels down, or less than that, 160, 50, 40, something like that. Can that be 100% match? I don't know. These artifacts are a little troublesome, but mathematically, so the backend likes it. The backend says yes, this is a match. I understand that is a very strange shape, and I can use the same style for each one, which is kind of great. And minify it and unit replace it. These calcs end up breaking without the spaces, so we put those back, and then that's certainly a solution. Definitely on the exotic side in terms of a solution. Somebody complained yesterday in the comments that using var is less efficient in many circumstances for things like height and width, and I know that. You don't need to comment with that knowledge. I know it. I'm showing you code. I'm doing these how I like to do them. I'm not doing it for the best possible score. That's not why I do this. You can keep those comments like that about shaving characters. I mean, you can share them, but they're not my favorite. I like it when whole new techniques are brought up. Merely shaving characters is the point of code golf? Yes. To me, these are creative coding challenges. That's what's great about these things. That's what's awesome and wonderful and fun. That's the fun stuff. Shaving characters, or oh, you used var instead of height and that was less efficient. Who cares? Nobody cares. I don't care. I mean, you know, if we were in a battle against each other, sure, it matters. But that's not what this is at all. Not at all. It's for fun. Super fun. I have a lot of fun with these. This is a goofy solution. One of the other ways to do something like this, I do think that a border double can work, but what I've seen of experimenting with border double is that distance varies between browsers. And so the Chrome backend and Safari are not going to play, they're not going to be similar. But I have seen successful, very clever solutions to other battles that shave a lot of characters off and have very minimal code, right? I'm at 285. The best players are at 100 less or more efficient than I am. I'm never going to be at that echelon because it just doesn't interest me in the same way that it, so anyway, so my point, the border double is really interesting way to do this as well. I also think about, for this, inset what do you call it? Inset box shadows. That would be another possible approach for things like this. You could do multiple that and do a single element, and then so linear gradient, single element, and then rotate it 45 degrees. And then there's also the skew. You could create a single skewed element. No, you need two, because you need to make one at the other angle, right? Because you can't do a single element with both of these. Another way to do this would be a 0 height and width element with borders, and then you can get some with a 0 height and then with a border, and you can get some of these same kind of effects. Kind of curious to do. So it's not just skew, it's transform, skew, get you that kind of a thing, right? And then I could use a box shadow, I think. So let's follow that thread. Let's see if we can make one of those in a way that makes sense. And implicitly, yeah, so that would do one of those. 0, 20. All right. So let's increase these borders. There's 100, right? 2, 1. Let's change the height to be 50. That's pretty close, right? And then increase this number, 260, 300. Where are we at? So we're just about right. No, a little less, 310, 11, 12, 13, that's worse, right? 2, 1, 10, 09, 08, 07, 08.5. So that looks cleanest. I know that's a terrible number. Sorry about that. And then if I make another one, plunk. So P plus P. His, so if I do his skew at, so we got var angle of minus 45, dash dash A becomes 45 degrees. There he is. Great. So it actually already kind of works. So if I increase this number or make this negative, there it is. Now, the box shadow is going to be a little bit tricky. In fact, it's going to be a lot tricky. Why do I say that? Actually, yeah, it's going to be tricky. Okay, so let's do. So there's 0, 100% pixel, or 100 pixels, 0. No, it's not tricky. Hey, that's not too bad. That's a surprise. I love that. Okay, so, oh, so this is the tricky part, is that I need two box shadows. I need a light one and a dark one. Right? Yes. Right? So if I go 100, okay. So yeah, no, I don't need a light and dark. I only need the one color because it is correct. So okay, let's set the color. $55, 56, 7. All right. So that is a way to do that. Now, I also need some more. Now, I would like to do them as shadows, but I've got some math problems that I need to do, don't I? Because if I do so that's interesting, right? Like, there we go. Okay. So that's not too bad. This is actually getting it done more or less. So here's where a variable is going to help us. So for the second one, which is what's the second one? Minus, and this should be positive. So like that. Okay. Wait a minute. What do I do? Well, that should be negative. Okay, great. Wait. 27, 71, 269. Great. And then another one at 300 pixels, 50 pixels, 310, 9. That's fun. And then the same again, right? And at minus 50 pixels, which might not be it. Like that, it's a little bit iffy, and I guess I'm going to do the same again, background, the same kind of gradient that I already made. And because at 50%, 20 pixels, the light color 75%, and I'm going to again 100 pixels over, 150 pixels down, 140. Let's see, is that 100%? Let's find out. So these numbers are a little close. That is 100% match. So here's where what can we do to make this work for both? We do var, so is 1. Let's call the angle A 1, and at A it's going to be skew of an A of a calc of a var times like that, and then this becomes a -1, and then this is also going to be a calc. This is calc so the second variable is a y variable. A y is calc of var dash a times 50 pixels. So when I then do a var y, var here and here, I can then remove that and have it still work. And the only thing that changes in the second one is the -1, which is very elegant. This is why I like CSS variables. They are incredibly powerful when you have symmetrical and similar objects. I can absolutely rewrite this whole box shadow, but look how powerful that variable is to create exactly what I want. So I'm going to submit this, and let's see. Hopefully I've not ruined it. I believe it's still 100% match, yeah. So let's minify and replace, and we're done. This was a lot of fun. Super much lot of fun. There are probably more ways to do this one. I don't know that any of them is the best, but these are all definitely ways to do this. Oh, there, and so that's the highest score. So that we've gone out on the highest score, which includes a bunch of variables. So that's a lot of fun. That justifies my madness, including oddnesses like this 308.5 variable. So sometimes when you get this close, yeah, see how that is just a little bit off? That's no good. So again, the reason all this works is because we have box shadows. Those are box shadows. And the rest of the element has a background. And then the conic gradient, of course, it's my favorite kind of gradient. It completes it all up. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry this one went a little bit long. And if you're feeling offended by my rant about variables or height and width, I'm sorry. I'm not for everybody. That's cool. But write CSS. Go make a web page. Web pages are awesome. They're so fun to make. CSS is incredibly powerful, as you just saw. and go make that webpage. Have a good night.